when I'm doing these fairly repetitive jobs that take a little bit of concentration, mind tends to drift, and I drifted towards thinking if I was only to have 5 power tools, say downsizing, getting rid of all the rest, which ones would I keep? Pretty much the same question as if I was starting out. What are the first 5 power tools I would buy, and in what order? And first of all, I think I would go for a small pillar drill. I've got the Proxxon one, a small Proxxon one. See it here. What I like about the little pillar drills is you have a lot of control over what you're doing. Here you can see I'm actually making the holes in these heads to fit the gears. Actually quite a difficult thing to do because it's difficult to hold the head apart from in your fingers. So what I do is work through the drill sizes until I've got the hole, which is about 4.5mm, 5mm, to fit that. It's just useful to have a drill that will drill straight down and in a very controlled manner. This one, I wouldn't say it was brilliant out of the box. One of the pulleys wasn't concentric, and so I had to actually remachine it to make it was really vibrating up to then. Hopefully it was just a bad one that I had. The other things I did, I lengthened the pillar. That was pretty simple, just with some 20mm steel rod, and I also put a bigger chuck on because I wanted to get up to 6mm. Just to be clear, it won't actually drill with a 6mm drill through wood. It's not really got a strong enough motor, this one. But what you can do is work through the sizes to do it if you need to. I like it because it's very manoeuvrable. You can carry it round. It'd be great if you could get one that was as manoeuvrable and went up to 10mm, but I think that's probably a bit of a stretch. Most people, though, the same as with doing do-it-yourself, the first thing you buy is a power drill, isn't it? So most people have one. So if you wanted to drill a bigger straight hole, you could work the sizes up through the pillar drill and then use a hand drill with a 10mm bit or whatever, 3/8 inch, finally using the original hole as a guide hole. So that's definitely what I would take first, the most useful thing, and it's something that's not so easy to do by hand. Let's just put this up. Quite useful, these little wire rods really, with a crocodile clip on, and then you can put a little thing on, and then you can just hold the work holdings. Always important. These are my oyster catchers. I'm just painting the beaks. Secondly, bit more of a decision, this one, but I plumped for a small bandsaw. Sort of 12-inch bandsaw. I went for a bandsaw rather than a scroll saw because a scroll saw would be better for doing small cuts, thin wood, delicate, intricate shapes, but you can do that by hand fairly well, whereas the bandsaw you can do the bigger cuts, and they are a bit more versatile because you can put different size blades in them. You can go down to 3mm, an 1/8 inch blade on many of them. The small ones, which you can do some quite intricate work with, and then you can go right up, probably up to about a 10mm blade, so you can get fairly straight cut with that one. A lot of them around, they're relatively inexpensive. You get a little bit what you pay for, I suppose, and it's worth looking for one that's got rollers as guides, rather than just bits of steel or whatever stuck in there. And look for rigidity and look for bearings in the wheels, 2-wheel one, but I've got a bigger one as well, but the small one is one I would take. Again, you can carry it around, you can move it, you can put it away, and it's just very flexible little tool really. Thirdly, again, it's almost pretty easy, the third one, after I got the first two, it would be a 1-inch belt sander. Because they're just so versatile for shaping, taking wood down. You can put different grain of belts in them, so you can either do fine sanding or really take the wood off. And I think it's a really useful and a pretty inexpensive tool. Again, quite small, so you can move it around. it won't really do big surfaces, but you can do this by hand at a push or with a plane. I find that one of my most useful tools, actually. And if you've got that, number 4 is an absolute no-brainer. You've got to get a vacuum cleaner, some sort of dust extractor, otherwise there's dust everywhere. And I've got just this little Henry one. I've had this one for 5 or 6 years, I suppose. I've never ever had to empty the dust bag, amazingly. And that is because I've got one of these little plastic cyclones on it, which I was a little bit sceptical at first. But they're brilliant. They collect even the finest dust, and I use it all the time, and it's been filled and filled and filled, but the bag has never needed emptying. And the advantage also of that is that the vacuum cleaner runs much more easily, and so it uses less power. Yeah, you won't go far without some sort of dust extraction. It really just gets a bit too unpleasant. So that would be number 4, which leaves us number 5, which getting into a little bit of luxury land there. I think if number 5, if I could only have the 5 things, it would be my small lathe, my small Proxxon lathe. I'm sure other similar size lathes would be easily good. They just really open up what you can do with Automata. They just bring a lot more quality to your work. Again, I've got a bigger one as well, but the small one's easy, not absolutely easy, but not too heavy. So you can put it away again, so they'll fit in small spaces. And you can just do so much with it. In fact, I managed to mend, if you remember, the first one, the drill. I said that the pulley wasn't concentric. I used the small lathe to fix that, to re-drill the hole and put a bushing in it and put it back on. So those are the 5, and you can do an awful lot with that, I think. Beyond that, you're starting to, I've got a lot. This workshop's full of tools, but there's no end to it. But really, you're getting really good capabilities with just those 5. So that's what I would recommend: the drill, the bandsaw, the belt sander, the 1-inch belt sander, the vacuum, and then push it to the lathe. The lathe probably costs as much as the rest put together, unfortunately, but that's my idea of what I would do. What do you think? Put it in the comments if you've got different ideas of what would be the first 5 things you could buy for automata making. Thanks for watching. See you next time. I'll get on with painting my heads. Not so easy to do while you're talking. You need to concentrate quite a lot, really, particularly for the eyes.